Beautiful Super Bowl celebration parade was bananas yesterday. Nearly 700,000 people showed up. That's basically half the city's entire population. But the star of the show was center Jason Kelce. Listen to this.
Jason Peters was told he was too old. Didn't have it anymore. Before he got hurt, he was the best freaking tackle in the NFL. Big B was told he didn't have it. Stephen Wisniewski ain't good enough. Jason Kelce's too small. Lane Johnson can't lay off the juice. Brandon Brooks has anxiety. Carson Wentz didn't go to a Division I school. Nick Foles don't got it. Mark Clement's too slow. McGarrett Blunt ain't got it anymore. Jay and John can't stay healthy. Torrey Smith can't catch. Nelson Aguilar can't catch. Zach Ertz can't block. Rich Selleck's too old. Brandon Graham was drafted too high. Vinny Curry ain't got it. Bo Allen can't fit the scheme. Michael Thomas can't fit the scheme. Nigel Bradley can't catch. Jalen Mills can't cover. Patrick Robinson can't cover. It's the whole team.
Oh, my.
CC, how much did you love that? I know you were watching it. You were tweeting about it. You got so excited. You prematurely tweeted once. You couldn't handle yourself.
I'm into the celebrations. Now, I'm a person, accomplished a lot, never won a championship. I'm into every sport, baseball, hockey. I'm into the parades. Man, I'm into it when people win, to see the expression. That's why we play. That's why we all come together to try to win. But, man, this was the best. This was epic. This dude can roll with me. If I got a team, if I need a teammate, oh, my, man, this is the difference between football players and the rest of the world. Like, man, this is real football stuff. This is your center. This is your leader.
What were you saying about the speaking part? He'd never been given one.
Oh yeah, he's played in the movies, but they never let him talk. It's like a fat man with a football. Look at him run. He was preaching. He was getting his shoulders right. Man, that was epic. I mean, he went from the general manager to the head coach. I mean, look how smart. He went through the whole roster of starters and everything. Brandon Graham drafted too high. I mean, oh, man, that was awesome. I mean, that was awesome. Lane Johnson, can't stay off the juice.
I couldn't believe he said that about Lane.
Okay.
That was great.
Well, that's it. Years and years of being silenced and bending over, and then basically you just get...
And with the outfit, a tribute to the Mummers. You and I have spent time in Philadelphia. We know what a huge
He went all out.
New Year's Day it is there in Philadelphia. The men get dressed up in costumes. They drink all day. He's just embracing the culture of Philadelphia. And being a former player, you know, me and my teammates, Reggie White and Randall Cunningham, we had great teams. And, man, we dreamed about going down South Street, man. Man, being able to have a parade and to be able to see it yesterday. And they won February 4th on Jerome Brown. He's my former roommate. He was in a car accident, passed away. And they had a theme, bring one home for Jerome. Super Bowl was his birthday. And just to see all that come together, I have a Jerome Brown throwback, I got a Randall Cunningham throwback, a Reggie White throwback, a Harold Carmichael throwback. Like, man, I was with the people yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, it was awesome. It was really awesome.
Hey, they earned their reputation there in Philly. That is who they are.
And
all
man,
passion.
let's go get another one.
All passion.
I love that.
That was dope.
All right, switch gears just a bit here. At noon yesterday, my dad called me and literally asked if Nick was nervous that the Cavs weren't going to make a trade.
Normally,
That is a
true
story. I told him to keep hope alive, Dad. Well, the Cavs and Nick are back in the game, and today the Cavs look a lot different than they did yesterday. Big trades going down. They got rid of Isaiah Thomas, Dwayne Wade, Derrick Rose, Jay Crowder, Channing Frye, Iman Shumpert, all the guys we'd been talking about that weren't contributing. Coming back, Larry Nance Jr., Jordan Clarkson, George Hill, and Rodney Hood. CC, I will start with you. How did this impact the future of that guy right there, LeBron James?
It gave him two more options. Let's first with the Los Angeles Lakers. Their ability, because taking those players off of their cap, and especially off the books for 19 and 20, it freed them up where they can go out and get two supermax, two max contracts, two superstars. People would say, oh, well, Paul George or LeBron James. Or any other superstars, they have the ability to be able to do that now. So they are in better position. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they're better off going into the future because if LeBron left, they would have some NBA quality players that they could build around. They still have the Brooklyn pick, but also, more importantly, they have room for LeBron James to be able to come back to Cleveland because the roster is better and they have a better chance to win this year. But I'm going to say this. This would be probably the biggest accomplishment of LeBron James's career. If he was able to take 4 new players on the brink of the trade deadline, a whole new roster, and in 31 games, turn it around where they could be in the conference final and be competitive against a team from the West, being Houston, San Antonio, OKC, or Golden State, to me it would rank as probably his greatest accomplishment. Them coming back down 3-1 was a great accomplishment. But you're talking about changing a whole NBA roster. The All-Star break has to be there. And 31 games, man, it would be right up there as the greatest things I've seen him do.
So for what this means for the future of LeBron James, I actually do not believe his future in Cleveland is different than it was a day ago. And here's what I mean. From what I understand, it has gotten so bad with Dan Gilbert, the only way he is staying is if they win the title.
Yeah.
Now, the way it does change it is their chances of winning the title now are exponentially higher than they were yesterday. Like, we could have disagreed whether or not they would have even been in the title round, but we were in agreement. The roster they've been trotting out the last 6 weeks was not one that was going to be able to compete with any team that made it out of the West. And I just want to remind the audience what a major overhaul this roster has gone through, not just in the last 24 hours. You know how many players are on the Cleveland Cavaliers that won the title, which was less than 2 years ago? We're down to 4 guys. LeBron, Love, JR, Tristan. That's it. Now, there are only 4 guys with the championship pedigree. By the way, that also means there's only 4 guys left that have played those 3 consecutive 100-game seasons. So they have guys that don't have as much, not just wear and tear, but the same funk that seems to be affecting Golden State right now, which is, man, like, this is our 4th straight super long season. So,
and younger.
Younger, absolutely. Yesterday they added 3 25-year-olds and a 31-year-old in George Hill. And now, the concern for those guys is, obviously, the lack of playoff experience there, the chemistry, like you're talking about, the fact they're not going to be able to build that chemistry with Love until the very end of the season. All that's real. But this team was, I mean, their GM said, what did he say? We were walking off the cliff. We were walking to the brink of destruction. Like, we weren't going to keep walking down that path.
Right. It was a blood transfusion that they were going to die if they didn't get it. Now, how long they're going to live and how long LeBron lives in Cleveland, I just believe a lot of things can happen. Also, I believe it's on the board that Dan Gilbert could sell the team, which might be more enticing for LeBron before free agency hits, that he could sell the team, and LeBron would be more apt to stay in those conditions.
That I agree with.
Than the way it currently lays.
One of the things Kobe Altman said going into this trade deadline was he wanted to make moves where he could get more out of LeBron James. And I think we saw the most out of LeBron James the other night in that big Bucks win, but we hadn't seen a lot of that lately. Do you think just getting the players that they got is going to sort of reinvigorate him somehow, re-engage him somehow?
No doubt about it. Because LeBron, A, goes back in teacher mode with the young players. B, he has young legs to go run around with him. And C, he now knows, okay, like, it is now going to be on me again fairly. Like, people will blame me, and it's not going to be because Isaiah Thomas never got healthy. It's not going to be because whatever the other possible, they didn't want to spend money. I'm not in the business of giving Dan Gilbert a lot of credit. I will give him credit on this. That luxury tax bill just got bigger. They took on more salary. Like, this was
Which is a message to LeBron.
Absolutely right.
That they are trying to win. I think that I just have to say this. In traveling around with Michael Jordan in his heyday, we can't imagine the level of pressure on LeBron James. So to say trying to get to his 8th straight final, that they would have to blow up the roster, like, man, LeBron's got as much pressure on him as, say, when he left to go to Miami. And the reason why? Because if this don't work, we know what's going to happen afterward. He is going to move, and he's going to get the blame. So it's nice to see that Dan Gilbert swallowed a piece of his pride, because he ain't going to swallow all of his pride, and they made the right moves that going forward, there's a stronger chance of LeBron being in the Cavs uniform outside of the 18 playoffs greater than it was yesterday.
Jenna, 28 players were traded across the league yesterday. The Cavs were involved with 10 of them. 6 leaving, 4 coming in. They were the trade deadline in the NBA yesterday.
Fair to say that they needed it. For survival, that team needed it more than any other team. Coming up, we have a former GM going to tell us if the Warriors need to be worried after yesterday's deal. Next time.